Juneteenth Nation. Juneteenth started in 1865 when the U.S. colored troops came into Galveston, Texas. They were not planned to go there. Actually, they left Virginia, which at that time was called City Point. They were en route to the Mexican-Texas border to defend the country from Maximilian. And a storm blew them out of their way. They instead of going to Brazio, Texas, they went into Galveston. They found that there were still enslaved people. It was not a secret. It was known that there were enslaved people. However, they did not have enough military to enforce it until these ships came in, and there were 6,000 black men on the ships along with other cultures. They walked through the town, they had their guns, they had their gold buttons on their shirts and jackets, and they went back to the ship, not a horse. For years they said that General Granger came in on a horse, went up to the balcony. He was on a ship, not a horse. The building they said he was on had no balcony. They said, "You're going to do something before we leave this city, or we will." He had Major Emory write the General Order Number 3, which is one of our freedom documents. And they went back, they posted it on the door of Reedy Chapel, which at that time was called the Little Colored Church. And they proceeded on to the Mexican border. And 2 years later, Maximilian was assassinated on Juneteenth, 1867. So we did finish our job. The U.S. colored troops, when they were mustered out, then they became the Buffalo Soldiers. They went into the Oklahoma Western Territories. They became the Park Rangers. They became the first firemen. And they have a long history. And even today, you have the reenactors of the Buffalo Soldiers and the colored troops that are still in our events. So this year, they're going to be in Washington, D.C. at the White House. We have a parade going for the national, not the local, but we're there too.
Now, to my understanding, the national holiday came about just a few years ago. What was your response and reaction to finally being recognized as a national holiday?
I would say it was almost similar to what happened when Obama was elected. We knew it would come, but we did not expect it in our lifetime. For Obama, with the the holiday, we were going for a day of recognition. It had gone on for more than 25 years, and one by one, we took down each state. Our founder, Reverend Myers, went to 43 states in the District of Columbia. And at that time, he helped get legislation introduced in each of those states. So after he passed away, Steve Williams, our current president, took over and went to each one of the offices and convinced them that there was a Juneteenth connection to every state in the Union. And in 2020, we were unanimous with the exception of one vote in Wisconsin. And in 2021, we finally got the federal holiday, followed here in Nevada last year by a state holiday as a companion. So we do have about 25 states now that have Juneteenth state holidays in addition to the federal paid holiday.
And what year did Nevada recognize Juneteenth?
First time was 2011 under Assemblyman Harvey Munford, who we lost last year. He took it and placed it on the floor. We got it signed, and we've worked under that as a day of observance from 2011 until 2021. And as I say, then the federal bill came along, but it did not cover non-federal workers. So we went with the state bill, and we've got that passed through the Assembly last year with Assemblywoman Claire Thomas. And we have a companion bill that is a Juneteenth education, culture, and economics, which did not make it out of the back room last year, but we're taking it back to the Assembly for 2025. So we've got the holiday, now we're working on education and history.
Well, now, we're going to have a few activities that's taking place that y'all been doing since what year?
First event was, well, we started Juneteenth, Nevada, as originally it was National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, Las Vegas. We were out here, we started that in 2005. So our 20-year anniversary will be coming up next year. For 2005 to 2008, we made phone calls. I would get calls at 6 a.m. from Reverend Myers, who would say, "We've got to call Washington." And he'd call and he says, "I've got one of your constituents on the phone now. We need you to recognize Juneteenth." And then I would sit there for the rest of the call and listen while he did the talking. He just wanted me to prove, where do you live at? What's your zip code? You see, we have a constituent. And here's what you need to do, Senator so-and-so. And we went forward from that point.
So now, what are some of the activities that we're looking forward to here in 2024?
2024. For one thing, we're preparing for the anniversary 2025, and we have worked since last year on the rebirth of the Miss Juneteenth Nevada Scholarship Program, which is under the Juneteenth Nevada program and organization, along with our performance arts, which is another one of our divisions that we're building up. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to my also new one-year anniversary, I believe, maybe, yeah, 1 year anniversary, MarQue Munday, who is my director for the Miss Juneteenth programs that we are having, and she also works as a coordinator with the National Miss Juneteenth. So we kind of sit on the fence and
yes.
Work where we have to work. I mean, dishwasher, baby diaper, whatever we have to do. If the job has to be done, come to Nevada. We've got it worked out.
Yes.
Tell them your programs, MarQue, because I'm quite proud of what she's done.
Thank you, Ms. D. Thank you. And it's an honor, actually, to be a part of Juneteenth Nevada and to work alongside of you with all of the accomplishments and all of the consistent time that you've been working with Juneteenth. I've learned a plethora of information. Miss Juneteenth Nevada Scholarship Program pageant, now here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We've had 5 delegates this year, which is exciting in itself. Getting this information out to our youth, 14 to 19 years old. The idea was to take them on an 8-week journey to the crown. So to teach them the history of Juneteenth. Of course, we know that the pageant is structured similar to what people would think of a beauty pageant, but different because we do structure it based in educating them on Juneteenth. So those freedom documents that you were mentioning, the Emancipation Proclamation, General Order Number 3, and the 13th Amendment are documents that they are required to recite in the pageant to be judged on. As well, they have to write a 500-word essay. They do get to do evening gowns, so that's similar to what we have for a pageant. They also have to do community service, which is similar to what we have in pageants. So that's their philanthropy. But within working in the community, it really is about them being educated on their history, sharing that amongst their peers so that we have more people learning the backstory and Black history of America. We do know that America was built on the backs of our enslaved. So this information for them to learn so that we do not wind up repeating these things. So this year we're looking forward to a fashion show. So we're doing what we're calling a fantasy fashion fusion fashion show. And we're using a designer, Bobby Barris, who's taking older garments and then refurbishing them, so to speak, recycling them. So they're getting to see how you can take something from history or something old and bring it into the new. So this is also a part of us using education because, as we know, our fashion has become very washed down and we have a lot of disposable clothes, so to speak, today. We wear leggings. We're not very, conservative or formal in our wear. So they're going to get to see a designer work on garments to actually structure and put together garments for them. We also are working through One Cutie Boutique, so I want to mention them, and Larissa Couture, which they will be offering designs. This gives the young ladies an opportunity to work on stage. to help them with their stage presence, walking. It also gives them confidence. So they will be working once again, as they're working in the community, they know how to present themselves. With that, we work on etiquette. So we have been using our mentors in the community, whether they're entrepreneurs or business owners or business workers, to come in and give them the understanding of what persevering through life is about. And as well as they're picking their choice of career or their goals, dreams, aspirations, and desires, they have what we're calling our super sisterhood, our big sisters, who can step in and give them information about what life is really about and how they will need to persevere and how you're going to have challenges, but we don't quit, we overcome. So that's how we had our SHERO's program starting. SHERO stands for Strength, History, Education, Regal Overcomer. So they're working through their 8 weeks. And then, of course, we culminate in the pageant where they are judged with 3 judges. And from there, our delegates are not released after that event. They become the ambassadors, because after all of that work is done, we still need them to be out in the community sharing this information amongst their peers, so that not only do we build the program up, but we also let them know how important they are in the community. And this time, Juneteenth is their history. So being a queen, wearing their crown, and standing up in the community so that they can educate their peers.
Now, with that being said, when is this going to take place and where is it going to be taking place?
So the fashion show and the pageant will be at the West Las Vegas Library Theater right here. We call it the Historic West Side, 89106. So that's 951 Westlake Mead Boulevard. And on the fashion show, it will be at 7 p.m. on May 31st. And then we'll come back the next day for the pageant, the scholarship program pageant, at 4 in the afternoon. That's June 1st. So we're kicking off our Juneteenth events so that we have our crowned queen and her court, the ambassadors.
Now, what is the charge for these events?
These events are free to the public. So we welcome you to come. We ask that you make a donation, but if that's not available, please come so that you can learn the history and we can continue to bring this information and awareness to our community.
Ms. D, I understand that with that being included in the plethora of events that you have every year, can you state some of the events that will be taking place in 2024? And I guess it's in every city in Southern Nevada that you'd have something going on?
We will be in City of Henderson, City of North Las Vegas, City of Las Vegas. We will also be at Legacy Park for the flag raising. But I'd like to point out 2 things, that you're talking about the fashion show, yes, and you're talking about the dates, May 31st and June 1st. Historically, the patchwork is something that they use historically to do directions. The patchwork and cornrow hairstyles they use as the maps, and they use the pattern on the quilts to find out how, when they went to freedom, they went according to the patch, the way the quilt was made. May 31st and June 1st are also dates that we need to make sure people understand. That was at Tulsa. That was Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Those were the days of the massacre. So these are dates that are not only traditional for the Juneteenth, but we're still going to bring in a little bit of the history of where they fall into. And it's not just Black history. It's not just Black America. We are history. Mm-hmm. We are part of America. We are part of the United States. So as we're working forward to our mission is to bring all the cultures together, eventually we're hoping that we see each other as one nation, not just a Black American and an Italian American. We want to bring people together as one. So we're going forward into the future of this country. We were building it in 1619. We were building it in the 1800s, and we go forward with the new technology into the 2000s and going forward with everything that comes out of this country. in addition, you've had the girls going out roller skating
Yes.
because that was something that some of them had never done. We've had the party for
Shut-in.
the shut-in party, which you said next year may be a 24-hour party, which you did maybe 12.
12. We looked at 24 as a possibility. We know what happens in our society, to put these things together. So 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours next year will be good.
And we had the trunk party,
Right.
where everything that we thought that a candidate should have going into college,
Yeah.
if this is their year to go to college, you could bring it to the party and give it to them,
Yes.
and send them to school well prepared for where they had to be.
Yes.
So is there a local scholarship awarded, or they would only be awarded a scholarship if they went to national and were successful?
There's 2 scholarships.
2 scholarships, because we are a scholarship program pageant right here in Las Vegas, so in Nevada, let me say it that way. So they do receive, the queen will receive a scholarship to go to the school of her choice when it is time for her to go. This year, specifically, we have freshmen and sophomores, so they have a few years, and we are looking at the scholarship being able to be utilized for culinary school or for beauty school, for higher education, let's put it that way, and trade school. But they do have to enroll, and they do have to send the transcripts to the Juneteenth organization to make, so that we know that they truly are enrolled. And
And the money is paid to the school, so there is no question as to it being for some type of educational purpose. And the queen will then receive an invitation
right.
from the National Juneteenth Scholarship Program, and an invitation, and if we deem that she is ready to go, we will support it, and she will be in Atlanta this year.
And I just want to back up, Misty. When we say if she's ready to go, being an ambassador for Juneteenth would mean that you'd be able to sit in a panel such as this and talk about Juneteenth, understanding the history, so that as you pass it along, once again, we're trying to dispel the myths. General Granger did not come riding in on a horse. He was not on a balcony. So there are a lot of misnomers out there that our history is still folding back to say, no, it wasn't this way. And so when we have a young lady, an ambassador, a queen, that does the digging in the history, and of course we have those resources with the national organization, when she learns and takes the time for that, that's what we mean by being ready. Present and ready. So she's ready to step up and actually talk on the level to give this information accurately to her peers and to the community at large.
Well, now, Ms. D, I want to ask you, through history in America, there's been several flags that were designed for several different purposes. And it comes to my attention that Juneteenth has a flag in itself. Can you give us some of the details and the design of what this flag means and how it was designed for?
Yes, Ben Haith out of Massachusetts brought the first flag. He came up with the idea for a design. He had a young lady draw the flag the way he wanted it. He then it is trademarked. It is a copywritten item. So we are the authorized administrators of the flag. So it can't it should not be on Amazon. We have pulled it off of Amazon and a number of companies over the years, but it is an authorized thing. It has a copyright number, and it is the red is at the bottom for the blood that we've shed into the land. The blue is our horizon. We've got the star for Texas, and we do kind of go forward. It has been changed over the years. At the beginning, it did not have the date. So it now has the 1865 on it to show the year of Juneteenth. And again, it's not the red, black, and green, yellow of the Marcus Garvey flag. They say those are the colors of Africa. Again, we're not from Africa. We are descendants of Africans, yes, but we are Americans, and we are red, white, and blue. We have been in every war since the country started. 1619, we brought the first enslaved, well, actually, they were not enslaved. The first Africans landed in the English colonies in 1619 in August, and there will be a African Landing Day in Hampton, Virginia this year, annual. There were blacks in Florida, Georgia, the southern portions. They came in with the Spanish and the French. But we count the time from the English colonies of 1619, where they came in. They were taken from a Dutch from a pirate ship. The Dutch brought them into this country, and they were not enslaved. They did not come in chains, from our understanding. They came in, but they indentured themselves for a period of 7 to 10 years so that they could pay for their food, their passage, their lodging. And at the end of the 7 to 12 years, they were free. However, in 1661, a young gentleman did not want to let his indentured servant free. He took him to court, and that was actually the beginning of slavery in this country. So we have that as a date that we're still researching more information. But from 1661 to 1865, we had a slavery. So we're looking at 200 years. All things Juneteenth. Most of the stories that you can trace, we can find the black threads in it. We're a grassroots company. We can find a thread that brings us into every part of history. We will bring some of our military people right now. We have the Buffalo Soldiers Cavalry we work with. We have the Buffalo Soldiers Motor Club that we work with.
So with that, I can say that you're going to have a collaboration with the city of Henderson and the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, and this is going to take place, I believe, on Wednesday, June 19th specifically. Can you tell us and let us, can you give us a little hint of what's going to take place on that day?
I think the flyer is out, so we can probably tell. We're going to have Skip Martin, who was with Kool and the Gang and
the Daz Band.
And the Daz Band. So he was their lead singer. He got a Grammy last year. He did something similar to "We Are the World." We're going to have we're going to have our 25th anniversary prayer breakfast at the National Press Club on the 18th. We're going to have a Mayalpha service in Wreath Lane in Lincoln Park, Emancipation Park, on the afternoon of the 18th. We may have a flag raising at Howard University, and then on the 19th, we start the day with a parade from the Martin Luther King statue, the memorial, with U.S. Color Troop reenactors, Buffalo Soldiers reenactors, current military people from different states are coming in to walk with us. We're going to have about, I would guess, it's going to start small, 150 people, 200 people, that will march to the ellipse of the White House. They will be met by the 257 Army Band, which is also called the President's Band. And then we will have an all-day event from flag raising at noon until closing out about 7:15 that evening. And we have we have Marcus Johnson starting us off with jazz. So this is kind of a continuation of what we've been doing here in Vegas for the last 3 years. Africa to America, music from the belly of the slave ship. We are still continuing with the Wave of Freedom, bringing the music from African drums, merging into the European instruments, and coming forward with our sound. Again, we built the country, we wrote the music. We didn't get credit.
We shared it.
We didn't get the trademarks because they wouldn't let us read, write. They took away our names and religions, but we're here. And we are the survivors. We are the descendants of the strongest of the strong, survivors from Africa.
2024 sounds like it's going to be a super duper event here in Las Vegas,
yes,
as well as Henderson, North Las Vegas. Once again, can you give us the addresses of these events, or not, your website? How would people further if they want further information, how would they go about getting that?
So to become a part of the organization and see us here in Vegas, you can go to JuneteenthNevada.org. That will get you to Miss D and get you all the information about the state and what she's doing for Juneteenth Nevada. If you're interested in Miss Juneteenth Nevada, then you'd go to MissJuneteenthNevada.org and get information about the pageant, the scholarship program, all of the requirements. And our events this year, as they were last year, are still at the West Las Vegas Library Theater. That's 951 West Lake Mead Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89106. We do have a hotline number. We have an 800 number. You can get both of those on the website. You want to do one, I'll do the other.
800 number for the national, which you can reach us, is 888-509-NJOF, which is 6563. My extension there is 701. You can also reach me locally and you can reach us for some of our Juneteenth questions at 725-238-3378. And then we have, as she says, we have the hotline number for the queens are pretty much using for their information to keep them updated.
725-312-2084. So again, that's 725-312-2084. And that's the hotline for the Miss Juneteenth Nevada delegates and the scholarship program.
We are grassroots. We have no government awards. We have no grants. What we do out of love and to better the community, out of our pockets, out of your pockets, whatever it takes. We want to help the children. And to help the children, we also need to go back at least one generation to the parents, because the parents came through the same system that the children are in now. So we need to educate at least two generations of our background and go forward and build leaders for tomorrow.
Ladies, I want to thank y'all very much for bringing this information forth to the public. We look forward to a fantastic 2024 Juneteenth celebration here in the city of Las Vegas.